right, so here's number 6. So I'll get a similar question here, get rid of those numbers. Okay, so what are we doing here? We need to find the confidence interval. We need to figure out the number that goes here and the number that goes here. To do that, we use this formula right here for variance. And then I hope you guys know by now, if I take the square root of variance, I get standard deviation. So to find the confidence interval for standard deviation, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So this is exactly the same as this. This is exactly the same as this. It's just the square root. Normally what they'll have for these problems is they'll ask you to find this, and you'll get a number here and a number here, and then they'll ask you to find this. So just once you've calculated this, just take the square root of this, put it here, square root of this, put it here. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, we just saw in number 3 how to solve for the chi-squared right. That's this basically critical value is what we'd called it in the other sections. They just called it chi-squared right. And the chi-squared left, these values. And then you just put it in this formula, n minus 1, so the degrees of freedom, times the variance, divided by this number. So how does that look? All right, so we'll get our calculator here. And we'll calculate the chi-squared right. Okay, first I'm going to calculate this chi-squared right because that's the one that's used in the left side of the confidence interval. So I still have all this data in here. Just going to push up. Okay, probably going to need to change some of this stuff. So n is 26. I had degrees of freedom of 14 for the previous problem I did. So now I'm going to change this degrees of freedom, remember that's what this is, to 25. Down, my confidence interval is 99. So instead of 8, I'm going to go 99. And then since I want the right side, I want to add on 0.99. Okay, so this will give me the chi-squared right. Push the down arrow, solve. Number is going to pop up here. Now, I actually need to do some more calculations, right? Here's my formula here. So I need to take n minus 1 times the variance divided by this value I just found. The nice thing about this numeric solver is it's going to save 46.927 and all the way down as x. So I don't have to memorize that number. So if I quit out of here and I hit the x button, do you see how that's the same number? All right, so now how do we use that in our calculation? N minus 1 times the standard deviation, or excuse me, the variance. N minus 1 is 25 times the variance, 17.64. And then we're going to divide that by x, because that's what the formula is. Degrees of freedom times the variance divided by x, this x we just found, hit enter, 9.397. 9.397, so 9.4, rounded to 2 decimal places. Yep. Okay, so that's the left side. To do the right side, I'm going to go back into Math Solver. The only thing I change is I'm just going to erase the 0.99 on the end because I want the chi-squared on the left side. Push the down arrow, have it pop up a number. It should be smaller than 46. Yours will take a little longer, but I still have it now saved as x. So get out of here. Go back up. This is the same calculation. My x value just changed. So hit enter, 41.92. Enter. Okay, now we want the standard deviation, so all I'm going to do is just take the square root of 9.4. Enter. 3.07. And the square root of 41. 6.47. And enter. Okay, a couple problems. This next one just has S. So instead of I'd have to square, instead of 37, I got to put 37 squared in for that. Not that one. This one has numbers. See if I have a list in here. Yeah, this will work. So put it in here. Do your 1var stats. I got some numbers in L2, so I'll just use that. Go to calculate. There's your standard deviation. So if I do my calculations for this one, I'd take n minus 1, which would be 16, times the variance, which will be the standard deviation, squared, divided by the x value you find in numeric solver. So that would be the calculation you use. You'd hit enter. This is kind of a nonsense number because it's just made up numbers, so it's not going to do anything. So I'm not going to bother with hitting enter, but after I hit enter, get a number, then I'd go back in and use numeric solver to get the other x value and just grab this and hit enter again. Okay, hope this helps.